It's not often in the European Cup or the Champions League that you get to go to back-to-back away games in the same city. But if I had to choose somewhere to have those games, Madrid would be pretty close to the top of the list. So I'm delighted to bring you yet another matchday vlog from Madrid, this time for Manchester City away at Real Madrid. Now, when I brought you the vlog for the game against Atletico Madrid, City did have an allocation of about 3,300 tickets. Now, for Real Madrid, despite them having a bigger stadium, we only got 1,800, and that's because they're doing work to their stadium, which has reduced the capacity to 60,000. But I am of the opinion we should have got more anyway. Still, there seem to be plenty of Blues here. Don't know if they've all got tickets, got them in the home end. Anyway, who cares? Now, it wouldn't be a Mutton vlog if we didn't have some food content. And despite the fact that you can eat in the Plaza Mayor, it's a little bit touristy, and whilst the food is reasonable, you pay a bit for the location as well. But, as it happens, just off the Plaza Mayor, there is a wonderful little street lined with small tapas bars. So come and join me for a little nibble at lunchtime before we start hitting the beer and then heading to the stadium. So Muttonistas, I'm now standing at the top of the Calle Carpacccio, which is a small street that runs for a few hundred metres and more or less has wall-to-wall tapas bars. I'm going to take you to 2 or 3 of them because, I can't eat at every one, but it's a place that's close to the Plaza Mayor. And if you want a little bite and don't want to go to the Mercado de San Miguel, I think this is a great choice for football supporters. Anyway, I'm hungry, let's get on with it. So I'm going to start off at Diaz Leroy and have a little toasty. This is mainly a wine bar, and it does little sort of bits of things on toast. They call them tostadas, and they often have pork preserved in its own fat, which is delicious, and a great selection of wines. And more importantly, you can usually hear a lot more Spanish than English spoken in here, and if the locals like it, it's usually pretty good. And as is often the case in Spain, when you order your drink, and I've gone for a red wine from Navarra, you get a little something to nibble on with it. I have ordered a tosta, but this will keep me going whilst I'm waiting. Lovely little drop, and here's to a great performance from City tonight. The tosta has arrived and it looks absolutely gorgeous. So here we have it. We have the pork preserved in its own fat in a red pepper salsa, I call it? Yeah, red pepper salsa. That is absolutely sublime. A little bit of alioli on the bottom, sort of garlic mayonnaise, and you can see the fat and juices oozing out of the pork. Now, you often see duck preserved in its own fat, but not so often with pork, and what a great idea they have here. And I must admit, I have been here before and had exactly the same tosta before, and next time I come here, I'll order this again. It's that good. Perfectly decent, €3 a glass. House wine here, nothing to be scared of like it is in the UK, and kept at the right temperature. Anyway, I'll get on with this because we have at least one more place to go to for our little pre-match luncheon, and I'll be right back with you. Now, Movida is not open at the moment, but it is one of my favourite places along this street. However, I only ever have one thing there, the torreznos. And torreznos are like pork scratchings, but they're pork scratchings on steroids. Forget all those UK bags of stuff you get from the Black Country. This is proper crispy pork belly, great snack with beer or a glass of wine. Anyway, I'm going to go to two more places, and they are both next to each other. Taberna Posada de Villa, Posada means inn, and La Concha. And I would normally go to La Concha first, but because one closes before the other, we're going to go to the Posada de la Villa. We're going to go to the Posada de la Villa first, because it closes first, and I took a group around here recently, and we had a great tapas crawl. You can just keep going on and on and on here, but obviously, for one person, only so much stomach space. And yet again, my drink has come with a little something to nibble on whilst they're preparing my dish. This time I've gone for Ribera del Duero. Now this place specialises in roast lamb, but a quarter of the roast lamb is about €48, and no way I can. I mean, probably for two people you could manage it, but for one, absolutely impossible. But we're going to go for some jamon iberico, the top grade Spanish ham. That should be pretty good. And the nibble is a couple of croquetas. Croquetas are croquettes filled with various fillings. I don't know what's in this one, but ham and cheese is the normal, but you can get them filled with cod, with cocido madriano, with bull's tail, with anything, or even blue cheese. And I'm taking my tapa in the bar, but they do have a full restaurant for those who want to make a meal of it here. And the plate of ham has arrived, and again, oh yeah, it does look gorgeous. Wow. Just look at that. The fat is an important component of Spanish ham. If you don't see the fat, you don't want it. You're getting something wrong, you're getting an inferior product. And whilst Serrano and other hams are quite nice, in my opinion, just go for the best. You won't regret it. This is absolutely magic, this stuff is. And in Spain, they tend to eat the ham with their hands, so I'll go along with them. Such a rich and meaty flavour. If anybody tells you that there's a better ham in country A, B or C, get them over to Madrid or particularly southwestern Spain, and they'll discover exactly why they're wrong. This is the best pork, the best ham that money can buy. Even the Japanese agree with that. Anyway, I'll get on with it because we've got one more place to go to, and I'll see you in a bit. So there we are, another great dish, and I can't stress enough, if you come here and you're more than one person, try the lamb. It is exquisite. Spanish lunchtime tends to start at 1:30 and finishes at about 4, so 2:30 till 3:30 is the sort of peak period, if I can put it that way. Anyway, last place now. Actually, one of the specialities here is vermouth, and I've had vermouth a few times here, and it's a drink that's gone out of fashion a bit in the UK, you know, since the days of Leonard Rossiter spilling Cinzano over Joan Collins and what have you. But I like one occasionally, not the sort of thing to have before a match, more of an aperitif before dinner. Anyway, I've gone for a glass of white wine and something you might not want to be used to, a prawn carpaccio, white prawn carpaccio. We have white prawn carpaccio, yes, that is raw prawns, and a glass of Albarino. Albarino from the northwest of Spain is the king of Spanish white wines, for sure. And in terms of flavour, it's not far off from a dry Riesling, if you like that sort of thing. And indeed the name Albarino means white Rhine. Anyway, I'm going to get on with this. I'll see how hungry I am afterwards. Might just squeeze one more dish in before we hit the beer and go to the stadium. Okay, last dish has arrived, and it is pork cheeks and a red wine sauce. And I'm going to wash that down with a glass of Ribera del Duero red wine. If you're not sure about your red wine in Spain, Ribera del Duero is usually a solid and consistent choice, whereas Rioja can be very good, but sometimes can be lacking a bit. And the cheeks themselves are a very cheap cut of meat, but they're prepared beautifully as a tapas in Spain. And I have to say that the portion size is reasonable, the taste is good, and it's a great cheap eat you can get at any decent Spanish tapas bar. And I think portion-wise, this will just hit the spot. And I suppose the Spanish are good at all sorts of food, but slow-cooked pork and beef products, they really do excel. Beautiful, tender, rich, and fully deserving of another slurp of that Ribera. Okay folks, I'll get on with this, then we're on to the square for a couple of beers, and off to the stadium for the big game. So, feeling stuffed and refreshed, back in the square. Time to think about the football tonight. Now, hopefully we'll have both, but at least one of our fullbacks back, because Cancelo was suspended for the last game, and I think that will make a big difference. That first game was exciting, but a bit too exciting. 4-3, we really should have had a 2 or 3 goal lead, could have killed the tie. We didn't, but we are the better team. And I think the only thing that's going to stop us tonight is the mental aspects of playing at the Bernabeu and the past failures we've had in the Champions League. Now, I still believe the league is the most important thing, but this is pretty big as well. And if you look at this Real Madrid side, I mean, they've used up their 9 lives already. They lost at home to Sheriff Tiraspol, of all people, straight through the group. Then they lucked out against Paris. Well, I wouldn't say lucked out, Paris just self-destructed. Had a really wobbly second leg against Chelsea and somehow came through that, capitalising on individual errors. So if we don't make those errors, we will go through tonight. Come on, City. And I'm not going to hang around in the square for too long, because one good thing about the Bernabeu is that there are tons of little hole-in-the-wall bars dotted around the stadium where one can take refreshment. And I just had a text from City saying these checks to get into the stadium are going to take quite a long time. So. Well, we've arrived at the stadium. It doesn't look as imposing as it used to, with all these building works going on, but one thing I'd say, there's a lot of tension in the air, and some pretty tasty banter on the metro. I was a bit slow, unfortunately, to catch it all, because it all happened so quickly. But I think both sets of supporters realise what a massive, massive game this is, as big as they come. And I do hope those little bars around the side of the ground are actually open today. Otherwise I'll have to go a bit further afield. And I know some fans of the teams were playing, watch this channel, but a lot of people in Madrid shirts were entering the metro at the Santiago Bernabeu stadium. I don't understand that. If somebody does understand where they were going, if there's another stop more convenient for their seats, or whether they were just here to sample the atmosphere before going to a bar, please leave a comment in the comments section. I'd really like to know. So one great thing about the Real Madrid stadium, the Bernabeu, all these bars that run around the side of it easy to get a drink, reasonably priced. And Spanish stadiums don't serve booze inside the ground. Not that I'm aware of for domestic games, but definitely not for Champions League games. So best to have a couple before you get in. Here we are, huge atmosphere, even though about a fifth of the ground is closed off. And you probably know from my previous videos, I refuse to broadcast UEFA's anthem. We have the better team, the better players, the better manager. As long as we don't bottle it, we're going to get through. Come on, City, don't bottle it. Real Madrid players not taking a knee. Don't mind that, but the cheering from the home supporters, what is it in Spain that they have against this? Oh! This is not looking like a 0-0, I have to tell you. Go on! Offside! And of course now the flag comes out. So half-time, not much to report on, and we had a good chance which Courtois made a save from, and they've had the odd bit and piece down the wing, but not much. Very cagey game, but I'll be happy with another 45 of that. Second half began, we're a bit, well, half asleep really, before, as the kickoff went off. Chance after about 10 seconds. 67 gone, we've got some good spells of possession, but haven't really created anything clear cut, but neither have they. Come on! Jack, skin him! Go on! we invited that pressure on us. We missed those two big chances to put the game completely out of sight. They got 6 minutes of added time. Surely Madrid can't survive yet again after all these let-offs they've had in 3 different ties. Over them. I mean, they should have been out of it at the Etihad. They could have been out of it here as well. And then suddenly, bang, bang, 2 goals. Calm down, City. Calm down. I don't know how on earth that fucking happened. How did that happen? But another half an hour of this. Maybe their names on the trophy. They did absolutely nothing all game, and then suddenly bang bang in the 90th and the 91st. I don't fancy this at all, and we're not great at penalties, but come on City, sort yourselves out for Christ's sake. This is looking shit. They've got a penalty. Looked like one to me, but maybe VAR's going to intervene in our favour. We're in trouble now, big trouble. Had our foot on the throat in both ties. We had our foot on their throat and we've let go. Criminal. I mean, we've got a lot of players on the pitch now who were there to see the game out, not to actually create and score. No MAHREZ, no De Bruyne. Grealish and Foden really need to step up to the plate now. Sterling coming on, that's probably our last attacking option. He's been pretty poor all season. Come on, Ravi, do something now for Christ's sake. Get it in! Oh! Not again!
He did say that, as you see. Keep walking. Right up.
Well, that was absolute madness, that was, and City lost their heads at the end. Pear-shaped doesn't begin to describe what happened there. Not just the defenders at the back, the midfield not controlling the ball to run the clock down, but Grealish missing those 2 chances. That goes on top of all those missed chances in the first leg. Well, I don't know. Maybe the pundits who said that playing without a striker is impossible. I have a point, because surely a top striker would have put some of those chances away in one leg or the other. And although a number of our players had poor games today, some had decent games like Bernabeu, and it looked, after about 85 minutes, as if we were going to cruise through. They hadn't had a shot on target. Anyway, I can't see Liverpool not beating this lot, especially since there's not going to be a game at the Bernabeu. But hey, I mean, for most of the ties Real Madrid have played, you'd have thought they'd have gone out in all of those as well, and they haven't. City need to pick themselves up and move on. 4 important games left to win the league, and I think Liverpool will beat Madrid, especially as they don't have to come to this stadium. So if that happens and we don't win those 4 games and they win a quadruple, I'm off for a summer holiday in Antarctica, because the gloating will be unbearable. I am unfortunately working during the next 2 away matches, so I might make this the last football video of the season, but if there's an exciting last day, I might do that. I haven't decided yet. Anyway, Mutton Eats, there's plenty of content coming from my food vlogs and my travel vlogs, stuff to keep you well entertained. In the meantime, I'm going to enjoy a few more days here in Madrid. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And most importantly of all, don't forget, you can't beat a bit of mutton.